Hello, and thank you for tuning in. This video is going to be my very first ever hockey mask paint up. I decided to go with a Roy Burns Hawk as my first paint up. This mask is from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. As you can see here, I'm drilling out the snaps. I drilled out all 5 snaps. 3 will be replaced with rivets holding the strap, and the other 2 holes will be filled with plumber's putty. And here I'm just sanding off all the shine, making way for the paint. I used sandpaper and I used a Scotch-Brite scrub pad. And now it was time to fill the 2 strap holes at the bottom of the mask. This was just an experiment, but it seemed to work pretty well as I used JB Water Weld PVC plumber's putty. And here I'm just gloving up. It says on their YouTube instructional video and on the back of the box to wear gloves. And it's a good thing that I did, because this stuff is hella goopy. And now I'm kneading the 2 parts together. And then I'm going in and filling the holes with the putty. And after letting the putty cure for a couple hours, it was time to sand down the excess. And here's the end results. Came out pretty good. There's a couple little divots in it, but I'm not too worried about it. Now when this mask is shown in the reflection of the mirror in the movie, the back of the mask seems to be black. So I took some black primer and sprayed the back of the mask in a flat Rust-Oleum black primer. Next I sprayed the front of the mask with some Rust-Oleum white flat primer. Now the color scheme for the undercoat and the main coat I learned from a guy on YouTube named Phantom Horror Studio, who does excellent hawks in my opinion. For the undercoat I used Satin Wildflower Blue by Rust-Oleum, and for the main coat I used Heirloom White by Rust-Oleum in a satin as well. And here I'm doing the Wildflower Blue undercoat. I did about 4 thick coats and let it cure before adding the top coat of Heirloom White. After letting the undercoat cure thoroughly, I added some blue painter's tape where the chips in the mask would have been. And now for the top coat. I did 2 very light coats so that you could still see a hint of the blue from beneath. And after letting that cure, it was time to remove the blue painter's tape and reveal the blue chips underneath. And then came the chevrons. I cut a small chunk out of the left side of this chevron as battle damage. I also peeled it up just a hair before clear coating. Then I did a couple quick coats of clear coat to lock everything in place before I started applying the dirt and grime. Here are the main acrylics that I used for the dirt and grime, along with a sea sponge and a couple of wash rags. Now adding the dirt and grime was a little bit nerve-wracking, as I had never done it before, and I had gotten this far in the project and didn't really want to mess the whole thing up. So I pretty much just tried to mimic what I've watched Big Hush do 1,000 times and hope for the best. Here I'm doing a khaki color. Next I'll be doing some burnt umber. Then I'll put the mud over the chips, and then some beige to kind of smooth the whole thing out. And here's the application of the mud over the chips. And next I went in with just a little bit of beige to kind of smooth things out and bring the whole thing together. And here I'm adding some satin clear coat to lock everything in. And then of course, now it's time for the straps. Okay, so the straps just came in today from Horror Effects Designs on Etsy. He sells extremely affordable, screen accurate, super high quality straps. And his shop again is Horror Effects Designs on Etsy. Alright, let's install these straps onto the mask. And here are the rivets that came with the straps. And here I'm just prepping the straps, putting the rivets in, and attaching the whole rig to the mask to make sure that everything's good before I hammer everything into place permanently. Looks like it's good, so now it's time to hammer everything down. Okay, so there we go. Straps are on and everything's complete on my first ever hockey mask paint up. Now let's get into some showcasing shots. Okay, so there it is. My first ever hockey mask paint up. I plan on doing more of these, so hopefully you'll tune in for those videos as well. I hope you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.